Sakurajima Volcano Eruption raises area to highest alert. U.S. discusses sending U.S.-made fighter jets to Ukraine. South Korea to lift ban on North Korean media. Japan has world's third largest defense budget. The MoonSwatch revived this brand. African States Bank seeks common eCurrency. Cheetahs to be reintroduced in India. U.S. allows Russian default insurance payouts.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It's Tuesday, July 26th, and here are your top stories. CNN reported that Japan's Sakurajima volcano erupted on Sunday, prompting the Japan Meteorological Agency, JMA, to announce a level 5 alert, the highest level, and calling for people to evacuate. JMA advised caution to residents in Kagoshima Prefecture and Kagoshima City on the island of Kyushu. Reuters reported that Japan's nuclear regulators said that no irregularities had been detected at their nearby Sendai nuclear power plant. There were no immediate reports of damage or casualties.
Japan Times reported that Japan's weather agency maintained the highest alert level on Monday, July 25th, after an explosive eruption during the previous day at Sakurajima Volcano in Kagoshima Prefecture in southwestern Japan. The Japan Meteorological Agency said that it was not currently expecting a large eruption similar to one at the same volcano in 1914 that caused many deaths. The media said that this is the second time Japan has set the highest alert level due to a volcanic eruption since 2015.
Reuters reported that as the conflict with Russia is about to enter its 6th month and fighting rages in eastern Ukraine, a White House spokesman told reporters on Friday, July 22nd, that the United States is exploring whether it can send U.S.-made fighter jets to Ukraine. On behalf of the White House, John Kirby said that Biden administration was making preliminary explorations into the feasibility of potentially providing the jets to Ukraine. However, the move is not something that will be done immediately.
Ukrainian territory that it controls in direct violation of Ukraine's sovereignty.
Kirby said, "It's not something that would be executed in the near term." Reuters reported that such a move would be a major increase in U.S. support for Ukraine in its battle against Russia. So far, the United States has provided $8.2 billion in security aid for Ukraine. Last week, President Volodymyr Zelensky said his forces could inflict major damage on Russia and launch counterattacks to reclaim captured territory as long as Kiev is equipped with Western weapons.
The media reported that South Korea plans to lift its decades-long ban on public access to North Korean television, newspapers, and other media as part of its efforts to promote mutual understanding between the rivals. South Korea's Unification Ministry said it will gradually open the door to North Korean broadcasts, media, and publications to try to boost mutual understanding, restore the Korean national identity, and prepare for a future unification. However, details of these plans are still being discussed with the relevant authorities in South Korea.
Hello, my dear friends. I wish this beautiful April day could cheer you up a little bit.
This is Un-ah. Nothing like your usual North Korean propaganda host. She speaks fluent English and presents herself as a modern North Korean woman living in the capital, Pyongyang.
According to South Korea, which is the world's 10th largest economy, it estimates its nominal gross domestic product in 2019 was 54 times bigger than that of North Korea. While it's officially illegal to watch or read North Korean media in South Korea, authorities rarely crack down on experts, journalists, and others using VPNs or proxy servers to access North Korean websites. A large number of North Korean movies, songs, and content are also available on YouTube, which is accessible in South Korea.
The latest annual defense white paper of Japan describes Moscow's attack on Ukraine as a serious violation of international law and raises concern that Russia's use of force to resolve disputes has established a precedent that threatens the security of Taiwan. The report sets out the government's security concerns as it prepares the defense ministry budget, including repercussions from Russia's war with Ukraine, Chinese intimidation of Taiwan, and vulnerable technology supply chains.
In addition to anti-aircraft warfare to confront aircraft and missiles, anti-surface warfare to confront enemy ships.
Reuters reported that the Defense White Paper, which was approved by Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's government, identifies China, Russia, and North Korea as Japan's main security concerns. Kishida's ruling Liberal Democratic Party has pledged to double military spending to 2% of GDP. A 2% target would bring Tokyo in line with a minimum commitment set by NATO members, and given the size of its economy, would make Japan the world's number 3 in total defense spending after the United States and China.
Bloomberg reported that by 2021, unit sales of the Swatch brand were down to about 3.2 million following the rise of smartwatches, in particular the Apple Watch. The CEO of Swatch Group, Nick Hayek, said their decline in sales was due to lost relevance among young people. As a result, the MoonSwatch was introduced in March exclusively at Swatch boutiques, buyers thrown stores from Sydney to New York. 3 months later, the MoonSwatch remains hard to get, with stores selling out within minutes of receiving resupplies.
And we said, my God, there are so many collabs in the world.
Bloomberg reported that Hayek says the Omega collaboration has made the Swatch brand part of the luxury conversation again, even with prices that are a fraction of high-end timepieces. Omega now accounts for more than a third of Swatch Group sales and more than half of its profits. What is the next version of Swatch after the bioceramic version of the Seamaster? The Blancpain 50 Fathoms watch? Hayek won't reveal anything, but he suggests it would be a mock-up of a Swatch collaboration with a very high-end outside brand.
Following Nigeria's October launch of the eNaira in 2021, the Bank of Central African States, which serves Cameroon, Gabon, Chad, the Republic of Congo, Equatorial Guinea, and the Central African Republic, will become the first regional bank to introduce a digital currency. The head of the board, Herd Naboda, made the call in an email statement urging central banks of its 6 member states to introduce a common digital currency for all member states to modernize payment structures and promote regional financial inclusion.
Bloomberg reported that last year, the Central African Republic adopted Bitcoin as its legal tender, but was strongly opposed by the regional bank and its monetary union. On July 21st, the Central African Monetary Union said that because the law adopting Bitcoin as legal tender in the Central African Republic is incompatible with the agreements and conventions governing the Central African Monetary Union and the statutes of the Bank of Central African States, they are now exploring the pilot phase of issuing digital currencies.
Bloomberg reported that through an agreement with South Africa, cheetahs, the world's fastest mammals, will be reintroduced to India to help boost the population of the big cats. On Thursday, July 21st, the University of Pretoria, South Africa, which is assisting the program, said that 12 of the predators will be flown to the state of Madhya Pradesh, where they will be introduced to the Kuno National Park. Cheetahs once roamed across much of Asia and Africa, but are now extinct in India.
Bloomberg said the step is a part of a plan to reintroduce the animals across their original range and to boost their global population, which currently stands at less than 7,000. A professor at the university's Center for Veterinary Wildlife Studies, Adrian Tordif, said cheetahs will likely be sent from South Africa to India every year for the next 5 to 10 years. The Indian National Tiger Conservation Authority, which oversaw the doubling of the tiger population in India over the last decade, will manage the Indian arm of the project.
Reuters reported that the U.S. Treasury issued a special waiver on Friday, July 22nd, to allow investors with insurance against a Russian default, known as credit default swaps, to receive their payouts. Reuters reported that the Office of Foreign Assets Control, which enforces U.S. sanctions, has issued 2 general licenses, also known as waivers, to help U.S. and other global investors completely remove themselves from ties with Russia due to outstanding debt. The Treasury's website noted the move also authorizes financial institutions to facilitate, clear, and settle the newly authorized transactions.
To be a downward revision of our growth projections.
Analysts had estimated that roughly $2.5 billion worth of Russian sovereign debt, CDS, has been held up by the problems. Reuters said that the allowance came alongside other licenses that authorize, through to October 19th, wind-down transactions involving securities issued by Russian-based entities under agreements that were entered into before June 6th. The Treasury's licenses effectively allow U.S. entities to buy Russian debt if that purchase is necessary to settle an insurance payout.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. Let's make every day a fun day. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I will see you next time.